Like cooking, everything has a recipe.
A set of instructions to follow in order to gain a certain result.
Music is no different.
Be it ingredients for a dish, a set list for an amazing show,
Or a release strategy for a successful launch.
these are all recipes.
Hi, we're your hosts, Sean.
And I'm Brandon.
Come and join us in our kitchen as we go through the Music Maker's Cookbook.
Let's get cooking.
Welcome to the Music Maker's Cookbook, the podcast where we help independent artists cook up recipes for success in the music industry. I'm Sean.
I'm Brandon.
And we're not actually going to do any cooking today.
No cooking today.
We're trying something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be more casual talk. We feel like we've been cooking a lot in the kitchen, and we just kind of want to take a step back, try something new. Like the New Year's are all about trying something new. We had talked about that in previous episodes. So we figured, why not now when we're kind of jumping back into it? I wasn't here last week. Sean manned the pod last week.
Yep,
and
don't check it out. Awful episode.
No, Sean did a great job. Please check out the entire episode. And the entire episode. He did a great job. Looked awesome. Thank you, Sean. Fucking awesome, dude. Great job. So we're trying two new things right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of
Actually, like three new things if you count Ernie's interview.
Yeah.
Right? So look at us.
Look at us.
We're doing the damn thing. But it's nice to be back.
It is very nice to be back. I'm glad to be in here recording with you again, Brandon.
Likewise.
But yeah, today we're just going to be after hours, kitchen's closed.
Yeah.
Time just to kind of review the day, look at some of our analytics. We want to talk about kind of what the last year has been, talk about some things we've achieved, some things we want to achieve next year, kind of just catch up on how we've been doing, plans for the future, look back on last year. And because we talked about it in episode, I believe it was
25?
20, no.
Talking about the review?
No, I'm talking about episode 20, the seasons of music creation.
Gotcha.
The seasons of music creation are creation, growth, review, and rest. And we're kind of in the middle between review and rest right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of coming out of rest a little bit from the holidays, going more into review, and then we're going to go back into the creation phase. Kind of there too, trying new things. It is what it is. So check out that episode.
Yeah.
But we need to practice these things ourselves.
We do. Like, this is something that we actually talked about on like the first podcast episode, was potentially doing something like an after show thing if we ever did this live, right? And being able to invite you guys over to join us for, I forgot what we had called it at the time.
We had called it what was it?
Was it dessert?
No.
It was something to do with it. Yeah.
Something like that. Because the whole point of it was like after we record the main episode, then we record a post-episode recording where we just kind of chat with people.
Answer questions. Whatever, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and put on like a Patreon or something to get to that point, which I would like to get to this year.
At some point, I think that's a great goal for this year, would be like kind of trying to implement a Patreon for you guys if you guys wanted to come and say hi, support us, and maybe talk about stuff more intimately with you guys. You guys can ask questions. We can maybe try to do some some phone calls would be really fucking cool. I've always wanted to do that. I don't know how to do that, but it'd be really cool. I don't know.
I've got that live streaming Zoom equivalent that we could send out codes to and have people on and have like video chats and do things like that moving forward. Yeah, this is going to be the tone of the whole episode. So if you're looking for more of an informational episode, we've got some series coming up down the line. That's part of what we're planning out this year. We'll talk more about that later, but stay tuned for a couple episodes. This is just us kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah. Honestly, this is like a kind of like a notes episode for us too. So we can go back and, that was a good idea. Or I don't know about that. Yeah. So,
but it was like, maybe it was after hours or something.
It might have been something like that. Yeah, it had to have been. Because it would make sense for us to call it that.
Yeah, stay on brand.
Hey, if you go back to episode 1, let us know. That might even be episode 3, actually.
It might be early on.
Yeah.
Well, because episode 2 is the first one we ever recorded.
Okay, so there's episode 2 then, I think.
Then we recorded episode 3, then 4, then 2, then 5, and then we recorded episode 1. Was the last one we posted.
Star Wars type stuff. Yeah.
Well, we wanted to record episode 1 last so that we were more in the rhythm of doing it, so we could put our best foot forward possible at the time when it came time to release that episode.
Yep. Which I think makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, it's just me.
I got that from Brian from the coaching program.
That's good.
Yeah.
Brian's a homie.
Brian Hood.
Never talked to him once, but he's a homie. So
maybe someday.
I see his emails. Listen to him on the pod. So,
but no, just to kind of, I feel like we should have maybe some basic structure in this. So
possibly,
Brandon, I'm going to ask you kind of to review this past year for you and what plans you have next year for your studio. We can just talk about that. Then I'll talk about same thing. And then we'll kind of do a banter about overall what's going on with the Music Makers Cookbook, because, you know, we got stuff going on that's related to the Music Makers Cookbook, but that's entirely our own. Music Makers Cookbook is not how we make money yet. So we got our own studios going on. Yep. Really curious to hear more about what you've got going on.
Yeah, the studio was great last year. Got a lot of work. Got to work with a lot of cool people. Went to a lot of different studios last year, something that I'd never really done before.
It was rough for a moment, though,
It was really rough for like the first 6 months between personal issues and the studio like actually having a small flood itself. I was out of commission for almost the entire month of April, which really sucked. That was really hard to kind of work around. I ended up setting up a makeshift studio in the corner of my apartment, much to my fiance's dismay. No, she was very supportive about it.
Do you have any pictures of that?
Oh man, I do.
You do?
I do. I'll send you some. I'll send you some. I set up right in the corner of the room, which you're not really supposed to do, but like I didn't have any other choice.
Did you bring any of your panels to at least like try to?
I brought
like a bass trap sort of deal.
Yeah, I brought 4 panels with me. Maybe I brought all 6 panels with me, and I had the bass traps in the corner. And then I had on the walls there. Yes, they are. Yeah. And it's very porous too. So it wasn't like a very reflective thing that we decided to go with, which is what I wanted. You can see through it when you hold it up to the light. And I was like, that is like a major key. Because like, what's the point of having it super shiny? Because like, you know, it's not gonna, the sound's going to bounce off of it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. We want it to be dense, and like felt's a good one for it. So is, what do you make potato sacks out of again?
Yeah. It's not yarn. It's Berber, not Berber. Berber's a carpet type.
Oh,
burlap.
Yeah, burlap's another good one.
Yep. So that was definitely a rough time for the studio. But after that, it just seemed to just pick right back up from where I left off. And luckily, a lot of the people that I work with, they were very understanding, very supportive through the whole thing, which I'm really grateful for, because like that was like I don't know what's going to happen here, right? Because like there's always another studio down the street, you know. Yeah. It just depends on what the person's looking for.
There's another studio, Brandon, but there's not another you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. And that's like a separator, right? Is like the people that work at that studio, you know. And obviously the equipment and the space are separators too, but
that's never the limiting factor.
It's never the limiting factor, right? So looking back, I should have been less nervous about it, but at the time it was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. We had some fun conversations that period of time.
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah,
it was right at the start too.
Yes, it was. It was. Sean remembers, and that was pretty rough. And then outside of that, I had more personal issues going into like the summer. That was just like stupid, just like car problems, and the dogs were in and out of the vet and stuff. You know, letting you in on the personal lives a little bit. It was just like, dude, when is this gonna? Because it felt like a trail of bad luck at that point. Because it was just like. I was like mentally, I was like, it was just like negative, you know.
There's something you mentioned, like, dude, I think this thing, you got like a new guitar around the same time or something like that, and you're like, this might be cursed or something, like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I forgot what it was.
I forgot what you mentioned. We were talking about it.
Yeah, it was something, and I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, July came around, everything mellowed out, and everything was right back to where it needed to be, and which was awesome. And like just kind of rode that out as much as I could. I worked, like I said, I worked on a lot of great projects last year. Very thankful to be a part of them. If you're listening and I've been a part of your project, I thank you. But then had a lot of people move too, you know, really good friends, like my friend Eric, he moved down to Nashville. My friend Chico, he moved back to Milwaukee. My friend Heather, she moved over to Liverpool to go to school. I'm forgetting others too, but like, it was like, wow, okay, so people are now, they're mobile, like people are moving around and stuff. So now we're kind of shifting how we work on things, how we communicate.
You've had to figure out how to do a couple of remote sessions with your buddy in LA.
Yep, exactly. Which has been great because Everett moved to, like you said, LA, San Diego area. And we had to figure out how to do remote stuff and got that under control. And now I'm working with this guy. His name's Revival. He lives now he lives in California because he's going out to school there, but he was down in the Bahamas area. And I was working with him. That was awesome. So lots of interesting discoveries last year. And like I said, going to different studios, that was like really key in networking with a lot of people, just meeting people in the industry and stuff. That was really cool. It gives you a fresh perspective on things. And then like, what can I do on my end? Like, I don't have the facility they do, but how can I make it at least a little bit closer to that facility or do something unique from the facility itself, right? How can we like major in our majors here, you know, what do we excel at, you know,
what are your strengths? What are you going to be using for that?
Exactly. And then it's been like couple of, I guess, things that I want to work on upcoming, and I'm going to ask you the same question.
Not prepared.
I'm just kind of going through in my head as I kind of remember off the dome. Moving forward, I want to take a step back and actually work on the business more so this year. I really ignored that side of things. I'm talking like SEO. I'm talking my website. I'm talking just better accounting methods if I can discover anything, which I've already started working on, which has been great. You know, just the foundations that I want to make sure are rock solid, you know, so that way if I do go a period without remembering to do something, I know that it's going to be okay, you know. But yeah, that is definitely something that I want to get better at is just taking a step back and being able to see the overarching picture and the macro view of things. Yeah. So that's definitely a goal of mine. And then obviously just kind of keep getting better at our craft, you know. That's a never ending journey within itself. And maybe communicating a little bit better because I've been really, really bad with texting. Really, Sean knows, he knows. So I've been really bad with texting and I need to get better. And like, so like the texting thing is always weird for me because like I remember I was having a conversation with my friend Kendall. And I was like, I feel like texting is one of the most unnatural things we do because we have so many conversations going on at once. And if you look back to our ancestors, we've had one conversation face to face, right? And now we have many conversations. And I think that overwhelms me a little bit, but I'm gonna figure, and I always feel like I need to go in 100%. So like, I always want to be in the mindset of responding to people properly instead of blowing them off and being like, oh yeah, dude, sounds good. That's it. You know, and like that doesn't feel great. I want to be able to like actually contribute more. Yeah. I think that's where my paralysis actually comes from, is not trying to be like, oh, I don't want to respond. It's like, how can I be meaningful about it? But like I'm thinking about something else. I'm not in the conversation. So it's
always fun texting with Brandon because like I thought I had put like a lot of information and a lot of energy into my text because like I'm the same way. You text me a sentence, a question, I'll respond with a full paragraph.
Yeah, me too.
Full exclamation marks, like because I'm excited about whatever we're talking about. And it's always funny when I text Brandon because I'm like, holy shit, you're outdoing me,
dude.
No one's outdone me.
I don't know why I do it that way.
It's crazy because in person you're way more chill.
I am. I'm way more chill in person, and I think I used to be very golden retriever in person too. And I've since toned back a little bit more, maybe weathered the storm of life a little bit more. And now it's like, okay, now we're settling in, you know. But yeah, it's definitely, my texts are wild. They are wild, dude. And I'll send voice messages too. And yeah, dude, I don't know. I just need to get better at, I think, communication overall. Yeah. It's a huge part of it. I want to also set up some automations in the business too. Yeah.
Do you have a CRM?
I don't use a CRM.
Okay. I've used a CRM. I've really fallen off on using it the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I really need to plug in things like message this person, do this thing, schedule this thing, because it's just so helpful.
Yeah, the worst part is for me, I never got into a routine of using it. I've never gotten good at using one, and I was just like, this is just an extra step I don't need to do. Mm-hmm. But you do. I do, because I don't want to drop the ball on things, right? So right now I'm loosely using my notes app and my reminders app on my iPhone, and I rely on actually looking. I was thinking about this the other day, and I want to bring it up to you because we had talked about it on that. I don't remember what episode it was, but the routines of things of what we do when we get into the studio and stuff. One of my or things I rely on when I get down here is looking at my hard drive at the projects that I've done recently and knowing which ones I need to do. Mm-hmm. I know that's a bad way to do it because like a lot of things can slip through the cracks, but like so far I've gotten away with it, but I know I'm not going to get away with it forever. So like I need to get a solid CRM into place. Yeah. I think setting up the CRM is the most daunting part to me because I'm like, there's so much to put in there.
It can be. Yeah. There's like surface level ones where like I haven't dove as deep as if you mind me talking for a bit.
Please.
I haven't dove as deep into...
I've talked this entire time. So
well, because we asked you what your year's been. You've been talking about that next year.
Fair.
I use Pipedrive.
Okay.
Which stands for customer relationship management software. Mm-hmm. And I just use a very basic surface level of it because it's got a lot of the functionality built in, the pipelines, putting in the people's information, and your emails embedded in. So that's the only way I answer emails. Yeah. Because it has the ability to track email tracking so I can see when a client opens it.
Totally.
Things like that. And there's ways to, if I used different ways to like send my invoices, you can actually embed it into the CRM.
Oh, that's great.
There's things like that. But those are the more in-depth things that I haven't quite done yet, which I should probably do next year. But
it's a great place to keep like invoices too for history. Yeah. Because going through like one of the accounting software I use, it's such a headache just to find stuff. I mean, you can search stuff, but like even getting to the search feature is like cumbersome, and it's an extra 5-10 seconds that I don't want to do,
There's like HubSuite or HubSpot or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I was using Agile. And like I liked it, but it didn't feel concrete enough to me, to be honest. There wasn't a lot of integration either, so I don't feel like it's as big of a CRM as Pipedrive would be.
Yeah. I also know Pipedrive has other, you can import templates from other businesses or other creators, or like upload ones that they supply.
That's great.
So you can hit the ground running a little bit more so than just a complete blank slate.
That's good, yeah.
Because like when I started, I started through Pipedrive when I was in the. It was Brian Hood's. It was when it was still 6-figure home studio. It was his
profitable
producer course. Yep. And I got Pipedrive through him, and I got a discount through him because he was an affiliate.
Nice.
And I downloaded a template from him that was specifically for
that's
this
awesome.
kind of stuff.
That's great.
So I might be able to, if you want to do a test run of it, I might be able to export what I've got as a template.
Yeah, as long as Brian doesn't mind.
Well, I've changed it since then, so I'm stealing like an artist, Brian. Which is a whole new thing we could talk about.
Yes, it is.
Future episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to do more like philosophical deep dives in certain topics.
Yeah, me too.
The good and bad thing is from here on moving out, the episodes are going to be a lot more in depth, a lot more detail oriented.
Yes.
The good side is it's going to be really great for you guys. The bad side is going to take us a lot more time to plan.
It is. Yeah.
Which is okay. I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, me too.
But
I don't think so. I'm just excited to keep kind of going, keep it flowing, and see where we can kind of go with it.
Energy this year.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like I said, my even years, we were talking about this before. My even years are so much better than my odd years, it feels like.
It's probably me a little bit.
It's probably just an illusion, to be honest, but I'm just going to make it up as I go. So, I'm excited for this year. Already got some great things planned, been busy already, which has been great, and just hope to kind of see where it kind of goes from here and have fun with it. So, what about you? What's been going on with you? What happened last year? What's going on this year?
Last year was an odd year. The year before, 2022, we had... So when I got into this industry, when I graduated from college from Schoolcraft, SRT, Brandon went to Michigan to further his degree. I went directly into the field, and I got working for a company that does local live shows and installs for like churches, stores, concert venues, bars, all that sort of stuff. And from end of 2022, the head guy that had been doing it for like 8-9 years had built up a van and was leaving for a year doing van life or whatever. So I got bumped up to the guy who knew the most and had been with the company the longest that did all the sound, which was great, except I was building my studio and I wanted to make the studio my thing. Maybe I wanted to make arts development my thing, which is what we're doing now. But I really like the guy I work with, so I committed to like, yep, you know what, next summer I'll be the head guy. I'll do all the shows while we get new people in and try to teach somebody else to do this kind of stuff. Plus, it was a transition year because he had just bought the company from somebody else. A weird merger, weird stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, lots of moving parts at that point.
Yeah. So when the summer hit, my studio stuff was going, picking up, and then the summer hit, and it's like, holy shit, now I'm working 60 hours a week doing live stuff, repairing stuff in the shop, putting rigs together. I was the only one beside the owner that had a truck that could tow the trailer to get rigs to the location. So I was hauling a lot of trailers. I had to make sure those were all good. Just a lot of maintenance, a lot of hauling, a lot of work, and full days. So I would come back at like midnight and I'd still have to throw together a mix or something for the next day. So that was just very, very rough. My studio stuff kind of fell down. And that was the start of the Music Maker's Cookbook, which is why at the start we didn't have socials. We didn't post anything other than the episodes on Spotify and YouTube, because a little bit behind the scenes, Brandon does all this. He sets up the lights. He runs all it on Pro Tools. He structures all this so that it looks good, sounds good, all that stuff. He's the tech guy in the front end. Together, we kind of pick the episode topics. We outline them, get it all going. And then once that's all done, I get all the files. I do the podcast mixing, editing, posting, and I create all the content for Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. With the help of AI. Thank you, Video AI. I would not be as prolific as I was if this was not the year of AI.
Everybody's got to give Sean his flowers because Sean does an awful lot for the podcast.
Yeah, I need to get better at some stuff though. Like I want to be able to respond to people.
Sure.
So a lot of times I read everything, but a lot of times like I just have to like it and move on because I don't really know what necessarily to say. I'm not I'm not used to social media. It's not my big thing. So I'm out of my comfort zone doing it. I love it, but I'm out of my comfort zone doing it. So I got to get more comfortable with that. But that's why at the start, there wasn't a lot. Yeah. And then as the live season ended, because we do outdoor concerts when it got colder out, I was able to focus more, which is why the past 3-4 months, it's just been an explosion of content on the Music Maker's Cookbook page. But it was rough for that period of time because I just wasn't able to do all this. Yeah. And I was trying to do a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, so that was just a lot of work, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm really glad in November I read The 10X Rule by
Grant Cardone.
It was Grant Cardone. Yeah. By Grant Cardone. Because it was like, it helped me think of, working hard is not a bad thing. It's not necessarily, you don't want to work yourself to death, but like, if you plan to work harder, it's not a bad thing to, don't be busy for busy's sake, but put in effort. Nothing wrong with putting in effort. And that effort is a renewable resource. It's not a finite thing. It's not, I'm done, I'm tired, is the whole thing of like, yeah, you can, like, you go to sleep, you take a break, you do a hobby, whatever, like you can recoup. Yeah. You're not done when you're like, you can't run out of creativity, you can't run out of effort, you can't run out of energy. So I'm really glad that happened because it allowed me to once again pick up my studio back up. Actually, completely aside from that, the building that my studio was in got bought by the city and evicted.
There it is. There it is. I was waiting for that to come up.
That's the big thing that happened because live season ended. We were like, yep, let's start posting again. I started posting all this stuff on social media, clipping all this stuff. We were starting to make a push, and then we got evicted. So since November, I've been moving 3 businesses because I shared a building with the live companies I worked with and the install company I worked with. We moved 3 businesses to a new location, which is more rent, which means I was out of commission with no studio for 2 months. Yeah. And then when we got to the new location, I'd set up a temporary studio, and then they were like, hey, so this other one would be better. So then I had to tear down the studio I built, and I'm still building the new studio. I've been out of a set up studio for the past 2
not
months.
A home base.
Yeah, I haven't had a home base for the next 2-3 months. So that's been a little rough getting all this client stuff done.
Very scary,
Yeah. And posting, 'cause I post 2 things per platform a day, 2 shorts on TikTok and YouTube if there's no main video, and then a short and a image post on Instagram every single day. So I'm trying to hit the ground hard because I really want to get stuff out there. And for TikTok, it's really worked. We're almost at 1,000. Yeah. We just crossed the 900 mark. I'm really excited. We're getting a couple followers every day. Yeah. But which
there's momentum there.
A big part of it is thank you, Attorney, for the interview. Check out that interview. But that's been a big push, and it's just been the whole mindset of like, it's okay, just get work done. Now is the time to work. And it's just been a lot of go. So next year, I'm really excited to have a home base where my studio's set up, my recording room is all set up. We may or may not, we haven't completely decided yet. We're going to have to see how it all works out, but we may be moving the podcast shooting location to my studio since there's going to be a recording room that can have more permanent fixtures installed.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be cool. If we
and it's closer to where I live too.
It's literally on your way down there.
Yeah.
So that would be killer. If we do that, that'll be great. And then on top of that, we're going to be trying to make new kinds of content. Talking with Attorney was fantastic.
Oh, man.
The whole thing about the hook.
Fantastic.
The location where you post.
Yep.
So next time I go on a road trip, I'm going to have to make sure I post from different locations. Next time you go to New York, dude, you're uploading from there.
Oh, yeah,
have
dude.
You upload
100%.
Yeah, because that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I don't, I wish we would have talked to him a little bit earlier than that. Would have been great. Because that would have been good to know. Because I totally would have posted from there.
Yeah. So we got to do that this year. Some awesome things I'm going to try content building wise. I know you said when we were talking to Aaron, that you want to start making more content and stuff like that.
Yes, I do. I've been trying to gather ideas for that, and it's been a slow go, but like I think I have some ideas so far, so we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I just got to
I'm excited to see what you do.
I just got to do it, dude.
Because you can do some great fucking shit.
Thanks,
your
man.
stuff just looks better and more professional than my stuff.
Oh, stop.
Because my stuff's a lot more quick, and your stuff is more meticulous.
Stop.
With the way it looks.
He's being so nice.
Which, by the way, that was a huge thing we did, like in the review aspect of it. Yeah. Adding these lights took this podcast to the next level.
The lights, the setup itself. It was funny because we had met that morning, and I think we were like, okay, we have ideas. let's fucking do it when we go over today. And we did. And I think we set this up in like 15 minutes.
And, I had to drive back home and grab this.
Yeah. And
go to set up the lights. Like, can I dip for 20 minutes? You're like, yeah, let's go for it. I'm like, okay, cool.
And it worked out.
Back with a big block of wood.
And it worked out so well. This has been our setup ever since. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from it. So it's helped. I think the social medias a little bit too.
Yeah. Since then we've gone from, and part of it is because things kind of grow when you're consistent.
Absolutely.
But I feel like it grew more since implementing this than it would have if we just did our old setup. We went from around 100 to 200 views on TikTok and like 10 to 100 on Reels or YouTube and all that, to now we get on average like 800 on TikTok.
Yeah.
Some of them have blown up way more than that, a couple thousand to 330,000 for one of them.
Wow. It made it that far?
Made it that far. And I still get comments and likes from it.
Really?
It's great. That's like one of our Trojan horse ones. Wow. So we're going to be doing more stuff like that, focusing more on the visuals of it. I'm really excited for diving into socials. It's kind of fun to create short form content. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
excited to get better at it and maybe get some more ideas that are just like, because I know there's ideas out there that are so in front of me that I just don't see. And I'm excited to be able to see those opportunities, you know? I think that's like a big part of it too. I think that's a struggle with a lot of artists too. On top of that, kind of like a little bit of content-y stuff right here, but I do see a lot of people struggling with that too, is like, what do I do for content? And like the content's right in front of you most of the time. It's just about being able to see that content and being able to try to capitalize on that content. I think that's what Ernie had said in our podcast too, is like, there are people that want to see what you do every day, and like you don't even realize that that people want to see that. Just do what you normally do, and you know there's an audience for it out there somewhere. Yeah, it's just about finding it and doing it. Yeah, I want to listen back to that episode and turn into a blog article and break down a lot of what he said. Yeah, because it's really good information. I'm just gonna constantly call Ernie from now on the phone and be like, "Hey, dude, like, hey, can you like teach us? Like all that stuff that you're talking about? It'd be great." No, he's a good resource to learn from because he's doing it. Yeah. And that's another thing that I want to do in 2024 is I've only got like 4 songs out, but I've got a solo project. Last song I posted was in 2022, but it's called Painfully Glad. I post a couple songs there. And in 2024, I want to start posting more music, creating more music myself. And everything we teach, everything we do, I want to guinea pig it and use it as the platter I'm serving these recipes on, to be like, hey, look, I'm doing this too. This is me trying it out. Because then not only is it like, hey, this works, this takes more time, this might take more effort than you might think. It's also, hey, if you want to know what I'm saying or what we're saying in these podcast episodes, go to here. This is a visual of what we're saying, an idea you can do. This is the numbers that I've gotten from doing the same thing. Stuff like that. Yeah. I feel like it'd be a good kind of visual, I guess, or baseline to kind of look at and say like, hey, it's all this stuff on top of just us talking. Now is a little bit of like showcasing of what it is as well. I agree with that. I'm going to piggyback off of yours too. I haven't made music in a while. I just need to again. That's what I'm saying. I haven't made music in a while myself. I have riffs. I never capitalize on them though. And I think like it's almost an oxymoron. But like people bring me songs that they have written or have started to write, and I'm able to expound on that with them, obviously through collaboration. But when I sit down by myself, that's where I struggle with the most, even with starting a song. I've lost that ability to do that somewhere along the way. Really? I don't know if it's like I just get focused on other things, shiny object syndrome kind of stuff, or if I'm never just fully able to focus, or if I'm just like, man, this is trash, right? It's probably a culmination of all those things, but I need to seriously sit down and just remember how to write music myself. And I think that will help the end product of a lot of things, you know, moving forward. When you've tried recently and you've struggled to make a new song, where have you been? Have you been here? Okay, I think that might be the problem. Yeah, I think it is too. Because every other artist are making it in their bedroom, making it on the road, making it in their car, at the bar, like just jamming with other people, and that's where the songs come from. This is work. There's a mental block here. Yeah, and not that you can't build it in this space, but the idea is not I'm creating something new. The mental block is
I'm adding on something that exists and making something better.
Exactly. And it's weird because like I remember telling my boy David, who's a guitar player, awesome guitar player. I've talked about David before on the podcast. He's a smoothie king. And yeah, you remember that?
Peanut butter belongs.
Peanut butter does belong, David. I'm so sorry. But I told him, I was like, dude, you know what's crazy? And I was like, I don't even have a guitar at my apartment.
I don't either.
That, like, for myself needs to change.
I have so many at my studio, but not in my apartment. Yep. Actually, that's not true. I have a Strat body.
Oh, well, there you go. At least you have something. That's like at least 15%.
And then Ibanez neck with no nut and no frets. So I could make a guitar, but I don't
hate nutless necks.
Right? You need that nut. But yeah, so I have a proposition for you, Brandon. How about this? To kind of get out of the space, but still be able to be in an environment we're kind of more familiar with. I hope that picked up. I completely looked away from the microphone. How about we plan some time, you come to my studio.
Yeah.
It's a new creative environment.
Yeah.
But still like we're able to record things.
Totally.
And get because like at this point, it'd be hard for me to try to flesh out a song without recording and looping and adding things to it.
Right.
Because that's how my brain works now.
Yep, same.
But a new environment.
Yep.
Maybe I could help.
Yep.
And then I'll come to your studio and we'll trade off and
that'd
see
be
what
awesome.
we can do.
And I think you make a good point right there because that is how my brain works these days. And I get so technical with it that it kills the creativity a lot. I also tend to fall into the same writing patterns as I always have. And it's been like a constant thing of writer's block for the rest or for eternity, it feels like now.
When's the last time you wrote a song in emo tuning?
In the emo tuning?
Yeah.
I'll show you something after.
Hey, there we go.
Dude,
He's got stuff coming.
So I had been working on this one track just because I was like, I need to get this idea. I have the idea. I love the riff and I just want to expound on the riff a little bit. I haven't sat down since then. This has been like 2 weeks now. See, that's another thing. I have big gaps between, but that's because we're doing this, not necessarily the pod, but we're working, you know.
Music is the job. I don't listen to music on my drive home.
Me neither.
I listen to podcasts because I listen to music when I'm at work.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep. I do the same thing.
So I completely understand you.
Yep. And
that might be why
people are shocked by that, by the way. But then they're like, well, you know what? That makes sense though. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, I think we can just only handle so much at a certain point, right?
Well, because it's unfortunate at this point, peek behind the curtains of a sound guy, you start thinking of music differently.
You do.
You start.
Yep.
You either listen to it analytically or you listen to it as for education and inspiration in terms of technical aspects of it. And it's really hard to listen to what the song is actually about.
It is.
Sometimes.
It is.
A lot of times I'll hear a song like, man, I really like that song because I really like how this was like brighter and how it was layered in with it. And I like how they switched up the key change here. And like, yeah, what was the song about? I don't know.
Yep. No idea.
No idea.
I couldn't even tell you what the song's about.
Nope.
But I like what they did here.
Yep.
I like what they did there. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. Cause like you lose what music it's all about at some point. But like, I'm not saying like we don't find it still.
No.
Cause we find it in other ways now.
Yeah.
But it's just not as like top surface level.
It's not where the brain first goes.
Yeah, exactly.
There are times there are times where, I kind of like to listen to some music on the way home today. So I'll put on Artist Discovery or whatever. And like, oh man, I love the emotion. I'll find a song where it's like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And because I'm in the mindset of like, you know what? I'm open to it now.
Yeah, me too.
But if I'm like, if I'm in a bar and they're playing music over the sound system, the first thing I'm doing, because I install sound systems,
is listening.
The first thing I do is I find where the sound system is and I critique the speakers and the placement and all that. It's the first thing I do. Not good. But
that's what you're used to now.
Yeah. And the second thing I do is I analyze the music they're playing.
Yep.
But
yeah, no, I do the same thing. And people are like, oh, listen to the song. What do you think? I'm like, well, how long you got? Because it's like,
can I listen to it 10 times?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, off rip. Like, that's cool. That's all you're going to get from me because I need to listen to it again. And I want to hear how the mix sounds. I want to hear how the production is. I want to hear where things come in, things leave. And then like maybe at the very end, maybe listen to the lyrics. But maybe that's another thing I need to do too, is like get better with listening to lyrics and being able to convey that and use that in tandem with the production itself.
At some point this year, I want to take a songwriting course.
Yeah. That'd
or
be
like
really
sit
cool.
in with a songwriting circle. Not because I really want to be a songwriter, but just to kind of refresh myself and expand upon that aspect of music.
It's a different way to think about
There's an art there.
There is. And I'm jealous of people that tell me they wrote a song in 15 minutes. I'm like, how? I just can't. I've lost the ability to ever do that. And like I'm talking about with lyrics and melodies, and I'm like, I usually end up going back to the same things, and I'm just like in this rut. And then I think a very distant goal, if I reach this goal, that'd be sick. I don't think I'm going to reach it this year, but I'm going to try. Outside of the other goals is I want to get into sync licensing and start to do like some baseline stuff with that. Maybe try to sell some stuff.
I got a buddy who does it. I can connect you.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And I don't think it would be like a very top of the 2024 year.
Yeah.
But that is something I want to get into because there's good stability there.
Oh yeah. Also, depending on what you're doing, there's a format. There's a formula to
exactly.
it. You only want like a minute and a half, minute 45.
Yep.
They want it, 2 different versions of the chorus. They want it built up, built down, this, that. So like there's like a structure behind it.
Totally.
Which I want him on the podcast to talk about.
That'd be great.
At some point. But yeah.
I'm going to listen to that podcast episode so much. It's not
You're going to be on it, dude.
Oh yeah, damn. But yeah, I think now that we've kind of expounded on that, those are my goals. So I gave you a very distant goal, very future or very near future goals. So yeah, anything like that for you though? Like, is there something out there that's like, if I got to this, that would be awesome this year? I
mean, I said I want to start putting music out this year. If I could,
that was your distant.
That was my. It's not distant because I want to start. I want to post a song in March. Is when I want to start.
Okay.
So I need to finish a song by March, which means I need to finish building my studio in the next week or two.
Sean's dropping in March. Put it on the calendar.
Yeah. So I gotta finish building my studio in the next 2 weeks so I can start recording in February, be done halfway through February so I can spend 2 weeks to a month promoting, talking about it, making content for it and whatnot. Because there's so many things I want to try. We talk about so much of this stuff and it's very interesting. It's very just cool.
Yeah.
So I want to start putting it to practice and start learning by doing because that's the best way to learn.
It is.
So that way I can do it and then I can talk about it from a state of like, yeah, I did this myself. As an independent artist who has no help. I don't have anybody, like I'm not going to hire other people to do these things. So I can talk about free tools, free things and make content about that. And I really want to post some of it here and some of it in my personal stuff so that you can kind of, see how it all works. It's just going to be a year of that. So that's my big year goal. Aside from that, with this podcast, part of my personal studio's business is I do mixing and mastering, but I also do artist development. And that's a big reason why I really wanted to start this podcast with Brandon and just in general is to talk about it, learn more about it, keep it top of mind, keep my skills up to date, have another reason to learn and listen about what's changing in the industry, what's new, talk to people in the industry and what's new. And this platform, what we're doing here is a great way to kind of get into that. So I really, really, really want to focus on this year. I want to focus on, okay, what can we do to help it blow up and expand and get as many people in it as possible so that way we have something that we can grow, something we can promote to other people, to have them in on the show, to get better value coming to you guys.
Yeah.
Just in general, this is going to be a big focus of the year on top of it. And then what else do I want to do this year?
Oh, man, sounds like you want to do a lot.
I do. My plate's full.
Your plate is full.
And it's going to take a lot of effort. So 10x.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because when we were talking with Ernie, I was like, I wanted to get 50. I wanted to get to 50 on all platforms last year. So I bumped it up to 500. We did on TikTok, not on the other two. But now I'm like, well, I said 500 last year. So now I got to go 5,000 this year. I think I kind of want to push for 50,000 just because I kind of even want to 10x that. Like, what do I have to do to get 50,000 followers in a year? It's going to be hard, but I think.
Well, the momentum is there now.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing I think with like a lot of these social media platforms is that it's like getting to the initial point where you can kind of jump off from that point. And what I mean by that is like my friend Jonathan, who I work with, he goes by Slipped Off Silk. He just got to 1,000 on TikTok, and he texted me. He was like super pumped. It was like, I feel like once you get to that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 area, things start to turn a little bit more on those platforms because now it's like, okay, we're here. Now let's propel a little bit more, right?
Once you get to 1,000, it opens up different analytics, different things you can do on the platform. So now TikTok has eyes on you and they're like, oh, this person is consistent and they've got some eyeballs on them. If they keep doing this,
maybe there are benchmarks along the way. It's like an achievement on Xbox, right? It's like you get to a certain point, you get the achievement, then it's like, okay, now you can go to this one, right?
Because they're a business. They want people who are prolific, who are posting.
You are their content.
Them. You are their content, So do what you can. Work with
TikTok's not putting out content. I mean, they are, but like they're not putting out all the content on TikTok. Not even close. No, they're relying on you, the creator, to put out the content for them, for their platform. Just remember that. Wow, we put a lesson in here. We didn't even mean to do that.
So that's what I got going on this year. That's what I'm excited to do. I'm really excited to keep this going.
Me too.
The deep dives we talked about some in the past. We've talked about some other long form content we want to try for YouTube that's specific to that platform. That's more video based. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Anything personal that you want to do this year?
Personal that I want to do?
Yeah. I'll just throw that out there.
I personally just want this to kind of be a good work year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've talked to my fiance and I was like, this is a very career oriented year for us both, very much a growth year.
Yeah.
And I just said it to her like yesterday. And she was like, no, I totally agree.
Same with me and my girlfriend.
Yep. We're like same page. Like this is a year of growth.
Yep.
And,
so that
and
we
you
can
know what?
Build on off of it.
Yeah. And you know what? It oddly feels like a year of growth for some reason to me. I don't know why, but like I'm totally bought into it. It's not just like, oh yeah, I just want to say this on the pod or put it out there just to manifest, but it like truly feels like a year of growth. And I'm excited to see where that goes and how that comes about and what I can do to facilitate it a little bit more. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. So no, definitely same here for personal is like, this is a year of the career, of the growth, So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully.
No, we will.
We will.
Do or do not. There is no try.
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, on top of that, just expanding what Music Maker's Cookbook is, different kinds of content, different kinds of resources. I mean, I really want to make more blog articles and make more resources.
Yeah.
I would love to get a Music Maker's website. We have the domain. We don't have a website yet. But if we had a domain where we could not necessarily have a lot of information on the website necessarily, but a hub to host the links to the resources. So you would go to a main page and say, hey, for these kinds of resources, click on these links and it'll take it to Brandon's site or my site where we have the PDFs or whatever to kind of treat it as a hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
definitely
be big.
Yep.
Some things like that because it's fun to do. It's good. I really enjoy this podcast.
No, me too. Every Wednesday you guys hear it on Tuesday. Every Wednesday we meet.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fun. It's routine at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it felt weird last week.
I was gonna say, let me just say, it's way better doing this with this guy than without him.
Oh,
so
that's
I
nice.
hope I don't have to do that again.
I hope I never have to do a solo episode because it's gonna suck. So I'll probably just end up talking about something else the whole time, and you'll be like, all right, what was that? Like, I don't know.
Welcome. This is Brandon. Welcome to Music Maker's Cookbook. Today we talk about Michigan football.
Oh, speaking of
what I do.
This is 2 days after Michigan football has won the national championship, and I've never been happier.
You might be a little hype.
What'd you say?
He might be a little hype.
Yeah, as alumni and someone who's just loved that school for so long, I'm so pumped. That's why I'm wearing the sweatshirt today.
Yep.
So I had to bring that up in this episode. So yeah, go blue.
But all that being said, do you have any goals for the podcast? Like this year in review, this was the first year.
Yeah,
we've done it. We did it for 7 months, I think, before the year ended.
My goal kind of aligns with the same thing, is just deliver more value. What can I do to deliver more value? Not only to like the pod, but also to you too. And just like, what can I bring to the table that just is like, wow, this is like a very, very solid rock core tandem that we have going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to live up to my end of the things. You know what I'm saying? And that goes with like more researching, more book reading, so like there's subcategories to that, right?
You can always tell when we've both read books before we record.
Yeah,
because we're more fired up. We talk about what we read.
And like that was something that got away from me last year, was not listening to books or anything like that, right? And then towards the end of the year I was like, okay, like now it's time to do this again. And it's been nice. It's been really nice, because it's like I always joke that I like sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like, dude, I need to go back to school. Like I just feel like I'm mentally fat, and that helps stave away the fatness. You still have to be very, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like at all. Like if we were describing it as that, like maybe mental out of shape, is a better way to say it. Be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong learner.
Sometimes like we get in our routines.
Yeah, because like I'm sitting there and I'm like gaming or something, or I'm watching like something. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just like not into it right now, and it's like I need to break this habit. And I've done that recently, which has been great. So so I feel like we're moving in the right direction, or at least myself, in the right direction. And that was kind of like a goal of mine, is to get back on track to being better. Yeah. And not being passive.
I feel that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'm trying to implement. I just reread Atomic Habits.
Then I need to read. I started it. So yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Well, re-listen to it. I got it on Audible.
And Joe, he was here Sunday. Yeah. Joe Dupree, and he said he started it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's like a life-changing book. Yep. You're gonna love it. That's like a yearly reread, bro.
And that's why I listened to it recently. I'm like, I haven't read it. I haven't read it yet this year. I need to. We keep saying it's a yearly read, so we got to read.
Yeah. Or otherwise we're hypocrites.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, me neither. That's not fun. It's not fun. But yeah, it's a great book. Great book. So that's my first book of the year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be rereading How to Win Friends and Influence People as my first one this year.
Nice. Great. Great book.
I've also been reading the Little Black Book of Entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out then.
Yeah, I think it's free on Audible.
Oh, so even better.
Get it now if
Sweet. Yeah, I will.
Did you get the 10X rule that was still free?
I still I have it right now.
You do have it. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I didn't buy it. Is it still free?
It was free. I don't know if it still is.
I hope it is.
That's why I asked if you
have it in my library.
Well, if you have it, then you got it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't buy it.
But if it's in your library.
Yeah, it's my library. Yeah.
So you got it.
I used my credit on from Good to Great by Jim Collins. So I'm excited to read that one, because I feel like that's going to help be like, where are the deficiencies in the studio right now, and how can I like really make this thing better and rock solid? So that's going to be like maybe my third book, because like now that you mentioned How to Win Friends and Influence People, that should be my second book, since that's like a big bucket list thing this year.
I never fully finished it.
I don't think I have either.
I've gotten through 90% of it.
Yeah.
But then like I never fully finished it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know why I haven't ever finished it either.
I think it's the way it's written.
I think so too.
It's an informationally dense book, but it's not like I want to dive in here, which we try to do with our podcast, try to make it fun.
Definitely. And I think real quick before we move on to the next point is that I want to mention that when we mention books, that some of these books do become slightly redundant at some point. Some of them, like a lot of them are built off of stories of other people. And if you understand the concept enough through like the first 2 or 3 stories, like you don't have to keep reading the same thing. So the same principle in different stories. Like if you get it and you are able to apply it to yourself, then like that's what you're looking for. But like some of them are very like repetitive, which is great for some things.
It reaffirms stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's not a fiction book.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it front to back.
Exactly.
Pull what you want to, pull what you need to from it.
Yeah, because if you find yourself beating your head against the wall with some book that's just harping on a point for chapter, then like do what you need to do. Like these books are not always meant to be read front to back, like Sean said. So pick and choose your sections. So that's a little bit of a tip, because that's what I've noticed sometimes. Yeah. Can't mention any books specifically, but I imagine that maybe that's why we haven't finished How to Win Friends and Influence People at some point.
At a certain point, it's just like, I get it.
Maybe like a subconscious thing where like, okay, we got it, you know? So maybe something to explore there. I don't know. Just spitballing. It's casual. After hours.
Oh man. I hope you guys are liking this episode. I'm very curious to find out what kind of things I can clip from it.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anything good in here.
I'm sure it's more personal things. There's probably some anecdotes, some stories, some things that we can clip from it. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of content right now. because
Sean's always moving on content these days.
The biggest thing is
what you got to do.
The biggest thing is to get known.
It is.
You know,
it is.
It doesn't matter if you're good or bad if no one knows you. The biggest thing is to get known and then work on getting it good.
True.
And you can always solve that problem while people are watching because they'll tell you what they expect. They'll tell you what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lack direction but you have people who are watching, ask, where do you want me to go?
Yeah. People can be mean and they'll tell you.
We've got some fun comments.
We have gotten some fun
I enjoy them.
And they're actually
honestly
hilarious.
Enjoy them.
They're hilarious because I'm like, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be able to laugh at yourself a little bit.
Our biggest TikTok was talking about the elephant story of marketing, like in the circus and all that.
Yep.
And my favorite comment on it, people would comment, and if you do this, then that's this. Like, because the whole thing is like, if the elephant walks through town, that's promotion, and if you tell people what's at the circus, that's sales. And people were like, and if you something that's an insurance claim, and something that's whatever.
It's hilarious.
And this one person commented, and if you waste 30 seconds of my time, that's a podcast.
It's so good. What a good comment.
I loved it.
That was so good. Like, that's very underappreciated right there.
Yeah.
That's creative within itself.
It is.
Yeah. So that's good. You know, like the comments that were like, oh, bro, this sucks. Like, that's not fun. Like, be more creative with your insult or critique.
If you're going to insult us, have some fun with it.
Dude,
come on.
please, like, let it rip, bro. Like, I mean, not too hard. I don't want to, like, feel really bad, but, like, make me laugh at least, you know? So... That shit was that was hilarious.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. That was a good one. That was a good one. Obviously, it stuck with us.
It did.
Out of all the other ones, that one stuck with us. Not only because like we talked about this before, the negative sticks with you a little bit more than the positive ever would. But honestly, it was just like creative. So like it was a good one. It was a good one.
I definitely enjoyed it. Why is that one getting? Huh. Always blows my mind when certain podcast episodes get like a second breath of air.
Oh, and then they get pushed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for the past 2 days, episode 7, software tools every independent artist should use, has like a couple of plays.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, I don't know why, but okay. I'll take it.
Maybe we're part of some New Year's resolutions.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If we are, let us know. We'd like to know.
I'm really excited for 2024.
Me too.
I'm really glad we started this.
Yeah, me too.
It's just always fun to talk.
It's nice because it's a full year now.
Yeah.
Of us doing the podcast like this year.
Almost.
You know, well, the calendar year.
Yeah,
this will be the first
calendar
year that we'll be able to do the full podcast. So it's not like we have to think back, like, when did we actually start this? Now we can be like, oh, in January we were like this or something, you know. So it's a good benchmark to get through.
Yeah, we can just say 2023 is when it started.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm already planning ahead. I am stoked for when we hit episode 100.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for it. It's episode 33 right now. 34 right now. Or is it 33?
I think we're on 34. We're this episode you're listening to right now is 34.
Yeah, this episode is 34. Mm-hmm. So like we're a third of the way there.
Yep.
Third of the way there. We're not going to hit it till 2025.
Yep.
But we'll get there.
We're going to get really close this year.
We're really close this year. It's going to be like what, 84, 85?
It's already been 2 weeks. Yeah. It'll be 84.
86. I think it's going to be 86. Because it's 52.
Been 2 weeks already in January
84,
right now. So
right,
84. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, we'll be really close. We'll hit it early next year.
Yeah.
Damn.
It'll be fun to see where we're at the end of the year. Stick around for that.
Be very interesting. We got to do something big for the 100th episode.
We do.
That's next year's topic. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of the ways. We don't got to plan it quite yet.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start planning now. Maybe make it like we'll do like an amusement park or something.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
That all being said, I'm
live episode in front of a live audience.
A panel at like a
yeah. Blind pig. That'd be crazy.
I don't know if they want like, hey, we would like to use your venue for a podcast.
I don't think so. I don't think they'd want that.
Maybe if we paid them.
Money talks.
It does.
Money talks.
Like, hey, like we'll give you this amount of money to cover your costs.
That would be interesting.
We'll tell them to bring drink, we'll tell people to come to that there's an open bar so you can get some extra money from that. We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Trying to be creative with it. There's some weird things people do in music.
Yes.
Which we're gonna be talking about.
Sean's gonna be talking about that.
Dude, this is gonna be fun.
That's a good topic. It's a good topic.
I think I'm done with this episode, to be honest.
Me too. I
think we're good.
I don't think there's anything else. I think we ate everything on the plate.
Yeah. We've cleaned
Was
up
it
the
leftovers?
Kitchen. No, it wasn't leftovers.
Dude, oh my God.
We'll think of it. Just not while we're recording.
Yeah. I know it's going to hit us when we're done recording.
Yeah, dude, if we do like a Ask Me Anything where I get people to send in questions, we'll call it the potluck episode.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, instead of smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your own.
Because Brian already used smorgasbord.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about
Advice buffet, smorgasbord.
Advice
thing.
buffet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about.
Or Chris brought it up first. Yeah.
I'm thinking we can call it, instead of an advice buffet, we can call it like an ingredient pantry.
Oh, I like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like take what you want from the pantry.
I like that. Yeah.
You're not gonna use everything in your recipes.
Snacks.
But yeah.
Well,
I want to grab some snacks,
Hood
grab
has
some
snacks.
recipes. I mean,
Damn it.
but you can
We're gonna be creative with it. Yeah.
either grab a snack, or either grab some ingredients that you're gonna cook with, whatever it is.
Fun size.
Yeah, take what you want from the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Fun
what we're gonna
size
say.
Three Musketeers.
I don't know. Where are you going right now?
I'm trying to think of little bite-sized things
Just
that you can grab out of something that's assorted. I'm trying.
oh man, I hope you like this peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah, this is what we do.
We just
for like
literally
an
say
hour,
things.
an hour before we start recording.
Today
So,
we talked about video games.
yeah, we did.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. We won't go into that rabbit hole
No, we won't.
because we already went there.
That's not what this podcast is about.
We already went through that episode. So if you want to talk about that with us, let us know. Maybe we can set aside some time and talk about it with
No, maybe video game music, because that's a big thing.
If it's Guitar Hero.
Dude, Guitar Hero is stoked. Anyways, I think it's time for us to call it.
I think so too.
We're yeah.
We covered pretty much everything today.
Hope you like this weird, casual, thrown out episode of us kind of talking about last year, we had personally going on, what we have going on next year, as well as what's happening with this podcast. This is a straight up. This is a content for content's sake episode. This is a put something out because everybody needs a break.
Yep.
We've been posting jam-packed full informative podcast episodes for 33 episodes.
Yeah.
So this is our break episode. We're going to get right back into it next week. In fact, as soon as we stop recording on this, we got a couple minutes before I got to head out. So we'll probably kind of plan out the remainder of January and July.
We'll tear everything down. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can start doing some research on those topics. We can hit the ground running next week. And
We can't tell you what the topic's going to be yet, but we'll let you know.
Yep.
Because that's what we're going to figure out right now.
We'll give hints of it on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram if you want to kind of get a sneak peek of what's coming up in the future and kind of know about what's going on.
No spoiler alerts, though. It'll just be a little sneak preview.
Yeah. Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So with that all being said, thanks for cooking with us. Brandon!
I don't know what I want to end with today. This is very
You're gonna
casual.
switch it up?
I was going to end with a Go Blue.
You do like a clock out and go home.
Yeah, because like
it's
this is
after
after hours.
Yeah. Dude, one of my favorite things that there's a sound guy that I've worked with, and at the end of like a show or whatnot, like when people like are hanging around at the bar or whatnot, and the bar needs people to go, he'll hop on the PA and he'll be like, "Don't care where the hell you go, you just can't stay here."
Yeah,
the fuck
that's
out.
great. That's great. That's great. It's closing time.
It's closing time.
So we're done here.
Closing time.
Ooh, great track.
I'm cutting that out.
Gotta get DCMA'd.
Yep. All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, what are we doing?
Oh man, I have no idea. Oh shit.